Primal Season 2, Adult Swim on HBO Max. We're going to talk about it. Spoilers up ahead. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I have Britt with me, an amazing photographer. You can follow her here on Instagram. It's cha-cha-cherry.
Cha-cha.
Cherry. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, something like that. I'll put it here. It will be correct. But we're here to talk about Primal. And I know it's the creator from Samurai Jack, and it's mostly just visually stunning. There's probably not too many spoilers or predictions that's going to happen unless a meteor hits and all the dinosaurs die. Spoilers! But we're going to talk about it here. Okay, so yes, so we're doing episodes 1 through 3. So we're just catching up and into it. And we'll just start with episode 1. And wow, talk about a visual masterpiece.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. And it's wild because if you look at, he also does Dexter's Lab. So you could see him like in the 90s doing Dexter's Lab and kind of forming his thing. Genndy Tartakovsky, I want to say is the director's name. Please like put it in spelling. But you can definitely see the crossover of his cinema, like it's not cinematography, but just his work.
His style.
Yeah, his concepts or his conceptual work's just like intense on this. And he sticks to his main plot going on and then really brings it with his transitions, and his montages are just like, oh my gosh.
Very visual storytelling. There's no language unless they're grunts, which or emotional poses, but there's no communication, and it's just very beautiful the way that they communicate through grunts and moans and stuff like that. But the first episode, they take to the sea. Yeah. And it's just the way he does scale with the vastness of the ocean is just beautiful. Where there's scenes where he's diving underwater just looking for fish and there's nothing, and he's just swimming, and you can just see how vast the ocean is.
Coming out.
And then the night shots. Oh my gosh, just beautiful. The reflection of the moon, the stars, the even the coloring of the whale that hits him at night is just it's beautifully done. To the turtle sequence, which is just so much fun.
I've never been so scared of a turtle in my whole life. I
and shark.
I already am afraid of sharks, but I didn't really have an opinion on turtles until that episode was like, oh my god, I'm never going to look at turtles the same way.
Never had an opinion on turtles. What about the Ninja Turtles?
I mean, yes, but I meant in real life. Like, I haven't worked with turtles.
Okay.
I haven't worked.
Ninja Turtles are the best.
Well, and just for a recap of the first season, like there are no other humans. It's just Spear and Fang creating their friendship and their relationship. And so they went through this whole trial of just surviving together. And then they meet their first human at the ending of season 1, which is Mira. And then and then Mira goes away, which is why they're following Mira into the ocean to see where she went. But they have no idea that there's other land. They've never thought about. They don't think about things like that. And then it was awesome because you could see in season 1 where he starts to build things more, and then to see them do it again in season 2 where it's like, oh, you could see the advancement in technology just because he's watching it be done. He sees a boat go away and automatically he's building a raft, which is so funny seeing like Fang. I have a cat, so it reminds me if my cat was that brave. Like just
very cat, or almost like how to train your dragon, Toothless kind of vibes. You know, it's like this monster, but it's a dog / cat mixed together, basically. It's like taking any household pets and just mix them together so anyone could relate. If they ever had a dog or a cat, they can understand and relate to what's the dinosaur's name again? Fang.
And then Spear because he has a spear.
Well, now he has a sword. He hit the Iron Age, but but that was like just a beautiful sequence. And then the second sequence, he finally interacts with a tribe. And he freaks out because obviously he wakes up and like, you know, this medicine doctor
because it gets separated. So Fang and Spear get separated, and it's interesting because they just went through a whole season of learning to trust one another. And they brought in a third character. And now they're being really pushed to, you know, like, well, Fang with the other T-Rex. And then with Spear and the other humans, you're really seeing them getting pushed on trust. But they've already just built trust. So they're kind of more open to trusting people versus being so primal as they were before.
Yeah, because think about it. Now he has a different opinion on animals almost in general, too.
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh. Like the whole thing with the T-Rex and Fang was just like, I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, are we going to watch this beautiful love story? You get so attached. It's just so cool. It's like How to Train Your Dragon Part 2. Rad look. Of course, the Rex, it looks like awesome with the red. It's like
Yeah.
perfect.
And then no.
I
Dump you
was
on your face, get you emotionally tied to the character, and then kill the character. That's the best way to do it, right? It's like Up, right? Up, the first sequence, the montage of the movie, gets you so attached to these characters, you're like, oh, and then like they get you
yeah,
with the spear.
the first episode, you're going to leave us all quiet in the ocean. And then
Yeah.
bam, 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 bam. On the second episode, it's like, well, that is so much that just went down. But it was a nice transition because I feel like they were easing you into the storm.
Yeah. And then the third episode, which I'm going to call it the Prince of Egypt episode, because when I saw the cave paintings, it reminds me of this cave, or the hieroglyphic scene in Prince of Egypt, where it's like almost animated, and it's like, duh, and he's going around with the torch too in Prince of Egypt. And remember, like the torch is like telling the story, like going from here to here to here. And then later on, he has a dream sequence about it. And then later on, Spear has like daydream sequences about what he just saw. I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally Prince of Egypt. I love that.
And it kind of has a little bit of the shapes too.
Because it's like the hieroglyphic, like wall paintings. It's that old ancient paintings, but it's like, duh. I don't know if you remember. I'll be overlaying clips here, but that was just that movie in general, DreamWorks wanted to outdo Disney, so they went all out on Prince of Egypt. Just visually, it's a beautiful stylized animated movie. Music. But just that sequence alone, I was just like, oh man, I'm getting flashbacks to Prince of Egypt. I need to watch it again.
Deliver us.
But what a cool episode, because he's completing the story almost. Well, not completing the story, but we're hitting a main point now. We're catching back up to where we left off in season 1, kind of.
Right. And we're filling in Mira's backstory. Is pretty much what they're doing. They're setting it up, which I think is cool because he can't actually communicate with Mira, but he's able to see. Like she had that, like in season 1 where she draws in the sand, trying to tell him, and he just like, like you're weird, just like drawing in the sand. But now he's starting to connect like what humanity is, which I think is exciting for the rest of the season because it's like, okay, you guys are created this unit, but now there's other humans involved. And we have the Vikings now coming in, which Fang just slayed. How would you think about the Grizzlies? Because Grizzlies remind me of you. And I was like, that's a very
the Bears. By the way, we have awesome bear shirts at AsArt.space. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. But, no, you don't have the bear today, but it's all right. But yeah, the Grizzlies just got their butts beat. But it was very beautifully done, like all the action sequences here. And it's always just so cool to see 2D animation again. Yeah. Because everything's so either hyper, where it's like 3D mixed with 2D and stuff. Shiny. I know anime does a good job keeping it 2D, but then like Attack on Titans, new season, they made the Titans 3D. And but they made the Titans 3D where they're not hand drawn, and you can totally see the difference between. Even though they try to do the warp stuff, there's just stuff you can do in 2D that you can't fully do in 3D. Like Into the Spider-Verse got close, and there's ones that get close with the stylized, but it's just there's something about 2D and just having it being hand drawn with line thickness and stuff like that just looks so good. They're getting closer though. Any other final thoughts from Primal? Or do you have a theory? Is he gonna create a family? You think this is all leading up to a family?
Yes, I think that's what he's trying to get back at. On my notes, I did think it was really interesting how he deliberately shot the Viking with his spear in his leg. I was like, that's cool, because before it was just straight up and you just go and annihilate. When now it's like he's even thinking on the human level. This person has information. I don't know how he's planning to communicate it to him, but I thought it was really interesting how deliberate Spear was, where you could just see that progress. Other than that, I thought it was cute that they hugged. That Mira just went, and I think that's the first hug we've seen amongst the humans. Right. I was like, oh, that's and how he embraced her, and there was already this automatic, like, I'm curious to what Fang's, because if that was my cat and I did something that I know my cat would not be very happy about, like if I brought a bunch of things over to my cat didn't want around, like I'm fascinated to see how Fang's going to respond to everybody.
Well, that's kind of was that the cliffhanger, because you heard the noises, and I don't know if it was because he was like he's going to attack the people, or if there was a fight already going on.
Well, because the village did seem deserted.
Yeah.
And it was very simple for him just to go like, oh, found you. Okay, cool. It's all this.
But there were other Viking people sleeping though in the other tents when he like peeked in. So I'm just curious if that reaction with the face, is it that he's being attacked, or is Fang attacking the people now? You know what I mean? Because
right,
it's one of those
he gets
things
very like,
he doesn't. But he doesn't like people now, because what did people do? People were attacking his dinosaur friend, which we don't have a name for. So, maybe he has a grudge still. He only trusts Spear. So.
It's a she. Let's not forget that.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I always say that. It's like all dogs are boys to me and all cats are girls.
But what do you do when it's an in-between?
Sorry, I took that from Community. I'm sorry, Troy. I just took your line. But yes, it's a great show. We're going to be covering the episodes here. We really enjoyed the show. Beautifully done. They're only 20 minutes long. Highly recommend if you have HBO Max, which I know some of you do because Raised by Wolves. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So go to HBO Max, check it out. Support 2D animation whenever you can. Support small animated stuff, even if it's Love, Death, and Robots or any kind of small features, because we want more of that, because that's actual creativity and not just sequels and extended stories upon stories that already existed. We want new stories out there because new stories is where all the good ideas come from.
I totally agree.
By the way, follow Brittany on Instagram, cha.chacherry. I'll put it here. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Go to asart.space for all the audio and video links, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.